On this episode of AV Week, we take a look back at ISE 2020. Last time in Amsterdam, Jeremy Caldera, Alicia Henley, Megan Dutta, Matt Scott, Kevin McLaughlin, and Zoe Mutter take a look back at the week. 4 days in Amsterdam for ISE 2020. What were the big trends? What will we take away? And what will we miss about Amsterdam? All that and more. Next on AV Week.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is AV Week, episode 443, recorded Friday, February 14th, 2019, live from ISE 2020.
Support for AVNation is brought to you by Kramer, AV Beyond the Box, and by Middle Atlantic, what great systems are built on, and by FSR.
This is AV Week, your weekly wrap-up of audio-visual news and information. My name is Tim Albright. I am your host. If you're not watching this, but you're listening, my voice sounds a little different because I'm using a different type of Shure mic because we are at ISE 2020. Thank you, sir. We are going to do kind of what we do at other trade shows, where we do a cavalcade of fantastic and famous guests. With me to start off, I'll call them my UK contingent, my longtime good friend, Mr. Kevin McLaughlin. Welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And my new friend, Zoe Mutter, who is the new editor for AV Magazine. Welcome, ma'am.
Cheers. Lovely to see you.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Last time, actually, both of us, all three of us saw each other, was at the AV Magazine Awards back in October. So thank you for having us over to your shindig.
Thank you for doing the commentary for us in your little green room.
In our little green, yeah.
Fantastic job.
It was neat. Me and Chris Netto, hashtag AV in the AM. I think I'm contractually at this point obligated to say AV in the AM whenever I mention Chris Netto's name. Yeah, we got to come over, got to hang out with some great AV personalities over in the UK and from other places as well. You guys honored a lot of people that night, so really cool. This is our last ISE at Amsterdam. I'm somewhat hedging my bets on that for right now. I have no knowledge of that. I'm just saying, who knows, right? The RAI may expand. The ISE may decide at some point in the next 10, 20 years, to come back. So let's say for right now, this is the last time in Amsterdam for a while. Kevin, your impression of this show, what were your thoughts? What were your big takeaways?
Well, it was quieter than normal, which I liked. It had a kind of Infocom feel to it. You could walk down the aisles, you could get places fairly quickly, although that's one downside of the RAI, is the fact that it's just, difficult to traverse, and I think Barcelona is going to bring some ease of getting about and finding the stands you're looking for.
Yeah. Zoe, somebody who probably ran around as much as Kevin did.
Yes.
You guys also had the center stage to produce as well, so you had several conversations.
Yep.
What were some of your big takeaways from this week?
I'd say again, it was easier to get around for us, but obviously you had various obstacles to overcome with the coronavirus and then the flight delays and cancellations from the UK. So I think even though there were some negatives, it did bring everyone together, because I saw people tweeting out, trying to get lifts across in cars from the UK. So it was only, I'd say, or the exhibitors, it was down 50 Chinese exhibitors, 20 non-Chinese, but out of 1,300, that isn't really that larger number, I don't think. But yeah, it was noticeably less busy on some of the stands, but then some of the halls, like Hall 1, 6 and 5, I thought there was pretty much a lot of traffic throughout the day.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's mention that for a second. The biggest manufacturer to pull out was LG.
Yes.
Right, that's the most significant one. But there were several others. In addition to that, some companies decided to keep their Asia Pac employees at home. So we had some reduction of attendees, or reduction of people there as well. Tuesday, the first day of the show, to me seemed a little bit lighter because of both the coronavirus concerns as well as the delays getting out of the UK. However, Wednesday, though, it picked back up again, at least from my vantage point.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, I think Tuesday morning was really quiet, but then it just picked up, and there's been pockets where sort of log jams where you can't get past, and it would seem normal, but then other places that were very quiet. Today's been very quiet.
It's Friday.
Yeah,
exactly. But a lot of the exhibitors I've spoken to have said that actually it's been quality over quantity, and they've had a better show. And one of the last stands I was on, One Land, said they've actually had more leads this year than they had last year. So I think it's not necessarily been a bad show for a lot of exhibitors.
I've heard that phrase, the quality over quantity, several times this week, right, including today. Because Zoe and I have kind of the same, we're both kind of like mentally like at the edge here. But Friday we get to walk around a little bit more, right?
Yes, yeah.
And having longer conversations, because it is a little bit lighter show. And several times today, this morning especially, I had that quality over quantity. Is that something that you guys felt?
Yeah, definitely. I've had more in-depth conversations rather than quickly having to run around the stand, see everything you can. You can actually talk about plans down the line for things we can cover in the magazine rather than just seeing the new product. So yeah, I've definitely seen benefits from it being less busy. Yeah,
absolutely. Kevin, I'm going to turn the corner a little bit on you. The Diversity Council had a fantastic event the other day. You've been heavily involved, especially over here in Europe and obviously over in the UK. I've been pleasure to be a part of two of yours, right? Talk a little bit about the conversation that happened the other day at ISE about diversity in the AV industry.
Well, the panel we put together, I think, worked so well. I mean, the keynote speaker, June Sarpong, she's obviously a professional, but I think she really engaged the audience, and she came out with a positive. She led with a positive about our industry. The fact that we're so open to, the working class sort of group of people, and therefore we should actually celebrate the fact that we are doing something good. Obviously, we can expand on that and become a lot more diverse, as we know. But, I really like the way she found a positive to start it off. And one of my favourite people of this show was Chris Hope from the Loop Lab. I mean, what a guy, and that man can network. And everybody who met him just was affected by his energy, and what he's doing over in Boston is it's exactly the kind of thing we need to do to bring a new group, an underrepresented group of AV professionals into our industry.
Yeah, I met Chris in DC this past December. He was on a panel that I was talking. And what Chris does is real quickly, he gets underprivileged kids and teaches them the AV industry, and then gets them jobs, right? That is a very, very concise version of what he does. It's obviously much more involved, but that's what he does. He gets kids that are underserved and in a disadvantaged community and teaches them the industry. It's fantastic. One thing that I want to point out is the event that I attended with you back in October in London. One of the presentations talked about, all of the presentations talked about how these AV professionals were able to overcome adversity and different hamstrings in their life, right? Different unfortunateness that happened, and how they were able to, get help through the AV industry. One of the young women talked about the economic diversity, right, and the fact that she was so poor. I believe she was in northern UK. That's right. So poor that they couldn't afford to go to college. She was on track to go to college through a certain type of scholarship or grant. They canceled that program, so she was suddenly out of college, right? No way to pay for it, and was very, very in poverty. And she was able to work her way out of that through the AV industry and through different employers. It was a fantastic story, but it's a part of diversity when we talk about diversity that we don't ever think about, right? At least in the States, right? In the States, we have certain demographics that we put in categories, and these people are, if you're a woman, we need to increase that diversity. A person of color in the States, increase that diversity. But economic diversity is something we don't really talk about.
No, and like I said, that's what June Sarpong pointed out was one of the positives of our industry. We're very welcoming for anybody who's working class. Having said that, it was Jenny from Shaw that gave that presentation, and she talked about how you still need a lot of luck, and you need doors open for you, and what a beautiful story actually that carries on from what you said is after that event, she actually went back and reapplied to finish her degree course.
Awesome.
So she's set up to do that now.
Very cool. I mentioned this a couple of times. This is our last time in Amsterdam. Zoe, as you and I, as media partners and coverers, we're going to start probably next Monday or Tuesday looking at Barcelona, as tiring as that sounds already. But in all seriousness, this is logistically, it's a big lift. It's a heavy lift for your organization and my organization. What are you looking forward to, and what are you guys planning for the next 12
I
months?
was actually looking at our stand. And
Already?
Yeah, back at the stand
Okay.
when we came here, and it does seem much easier to get around the halls. I think there's 8 or 9 halls, whereas here there's about 15. And I think it's all down one central corridor, and then the halls are in order for that. So I'm looking forward to that. Just it seems to be grouped more logically, I think. I don't know if you've seen the layout.
Not yet,
Because
no.
here, some of the circuits just don't make sense where they're positioned at all. So I
That's
think
true.
if people know what they're interested in, they'll be able to go to a targeted area. And it was actually quite interesting that they're partnering with the Next Web for next year's show. So I think they're just trying to branch out and do something a bit different, kind of like maybe like a Tide conference for ISE.
Yeah, most likely the Tide. My understanding is they're probably going to try to look at Tide again. They've kind of put it on pause here in Amsterdam simply because they've lacked the room to put Tide on here, and they'll have the space to do that next year.
I know they're mixing up their keynote speakers a little bit, because we had Duncan Wardle deliver the opening keynote here, so they're just trying to take a different approach each year. So he's former head of innovation and creativity at Disney, and you wouldn't always expect someone like that to be on the main stage opening the show, but he was very interactive and really got the audience involved, and it was really inspiring. Although I think because of all the flight delays, I think everyone was not really thinking straight by the time he did that, so it was quite interesting doing all the interaction with people, not really knowing what you're talking about.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
That's great. But no, I think they're probably going to mix that up again next year and try and bring someone else completely different into the mix.
All right. Mr. McLaughlin, as someone who's hit these shores and these halls 100,000 times, what are you looking forward to the next year for Barcelona?
For Barcelona? Well, change is always good, I think, and I'm definitely going to go to IBC more often so that I can still come to Amsterdam. But having said that, Barcelona is a wonderful city, and I think it's going to be good.
Yeah. I think some have expressed some concerns about the logistics of getting there, but I'm sure they'll work around it. A few people I've spoken to on different stands have said this is more convenient for them in terms of shipping all their kit across. But it's the same with any new location, you've just got to get used to it.
Absolutely it is. I might not be able to travel by train anymore, and that's one thing.
Sure you can. It's just a long train ride.
Exactly. Well, for Americans, it's probably nothing at all.
It's a longer train ride. We can go up through Alaska, because we're close to Russia there. I don't know, I got nothing. All right, I'm gonna let you two get out of here. Zoe, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very, very pleasure to have you. How do people get a hold of you or AV Magazine?
What, my email or?
just on social, on
Social, we're at AV Mag, Facebook, Audiovisual Mag, LinkedIn, we have a group and a company page. We've just redesigned the whole issue, so new logo, new fonts throughout, all new feature layout. So yeah, definitely visit our website and check out the digital editions, because we went big for ISE. It's our biggest issue, complete redesign.
Absolutely, AV Interactive on their website. Mr. McLaughlin.
Instagram, AV_Kev, and Twitter, Kev_McLaughlin.
Thanks so much for watching this first segment of AV Week. To see the rest of the episode for free, click on the link below or go by the website, avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv.